The great AI race of our time is here for real estate photography. I interview one of the major players in AI, Imagen, today on episode 19 of Real Estate Photography Unlocked. I'm just trying to get mine, but these agents got me losing my mind. Whatever happened to the good times? Man, forget about it. It's showtime. Let me show you how to get some rest, how to make millions, how to be your best. This is shout out to the REPs, to the shooters, producers, and the newbies. Welcome to our podcast. I'm your rep MC. We're here every week talking real estate photography. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 19 of Real Estate Photography Unlocked. Today we have Jonathan from Imagen AI. They're a large AI editing company that does all sorts of stuff, but we're going to talk to them today about what they're doing inside real estate. So without further ado, welcome, Jonathan. And do you prefer to be called Jonathan or Johnny or?
Jonathan is good.
Okay, good. Strong name. I've always liked that name. I don't know why. It seems like a good name to have. All right. So thank you for coming on the podcast. I know that I've been trying to get a hold of you. You guys are super busy doing a lot of stuff, but thank you. I know that it's not easy to separate an hour or two of your time to come talk to real estate photographers, but happy to have you here.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. So let's dive right into Imagen. What can you tell us about the company? The first thing people are going to want to know is what do you guys do in regards to editing? And are you dedicated to real estate photography? I know that you do a lot of stuff in other industries like weddings, portraits, and that sort of thing. Are you kind of like a jack of all trades and master to none? Or are you very interested in real estate photography and seeing what you can do here?
Right. So a bit of history about Imagen. The company is 5 years old. We essentially started from wedding. Our three co-founders met. They studied a lot of algorithms, a lot of machine learning in university, and one of them got married. He needed to wait a couple of months to get his images back, and then he said, "Hey, let's develop something to speed it up." So they focused on wedding editing. This is where we came from. If you went to our website, the main website, it speaks about people photography, about wedding photography. And then about 2 years ago, when I joined the company, we decided to make a shift and actually go to other industries, and real estate is actually the major one that we decided to focus on, because we see there was a big gap in terms of what there is in the market, in terms of the tedious, repetitive work. And then in the last couple of years, we invest most of our efforts in that. So to your questions, we do offer editing services, AI editing services, to three major verticals: weddings and events, volume photography, school, sports, and portraits. But real estate in the last year has been our focus.
Okay, so real estate in the last year has been your focus.
Yeah.
And yeah, as I develop a little bit of software myself, mostly in scheduling and that sort of thing, but I recognize that real estate photography, out of all the different industries, has pretty clear standards and expectations. So it seems like if you're going to develop some software and parameters, real estate would be one of the ones that is certainly possible if you can figure it out. So that being said, can you tell us a little bit more about Imagen? It sounds like you have an accent. Are you just, from overseas and you work for the company, or where is Imagen based? It sounds like you might be a little bit French sounding yourself. I'm not sure. I can completely wrong there.
Yeah, so my mother is French, but essentially we are based in Tel Aviv, Israel. The company is Israeli based. So we are 100, I think more than 100 people now in the company. More than 80 people in the company are based in Tel Aviv. We have also offices in the States, in the UK, also in the Southeast Asia. Most of the development, the AI team, the business side, and the headquarters are based in Tel Aviv. But obviously we are very present worldwide. Most of our customers, by the way, come from the US and tier one markets, English-speaking countries.
Okay. All right. And I know that you guys are pretty good with AI over there in Israel, since you have to swat so many rockets down every
Exactly.
evening. So
depends on the season. Exactly.
Yeah, right. All right. So since your life depends on your software, you guys might be pretty good at it. Let's see, though, for sure. Is there any way? So here's if you guys want to go to Imagen and try it out, you can absolutely do that for free. I didn't have to pay anything to set up an account and download it onto my computer. But we've tried some other softwares at my business and interviewed some other AI companies. Um, Everyone has their pros and their cons, some things that they're better at and some things they're not as good at. One thing that I love about software that I use in my business is, like, I need software that's easy to use. Okay, and I will say there's so far there's quite a learning curve with Imagen. However, I do appreciate that I can download the software and have it on my desktop. That's nice. Um, I want to ask you all sorts of questions about it, but right now the process seems to be that you download Imagen and then you start training your own model with ingesting images that you raw images that you have had versus the edited images that you have made, and you have different types of projects you can make, different models, identities. I forget what they call it
Profile,
in.
profiles.
Yeah, profiles. Okay, thank you. And you have specifically real estate profiles that start out with. The thing is, they asked me to upload a catalog. I did that, and I tried to ingest photos in it, but there were so many mistakes or errors either on my end, that I actually could never even get images to run through the software
Mhm.
um, completely. So, being that I'm not computer illiterate at all, that's not too good. Can you give us a demonstration of Imagen live right here? If you could share your screen,
Yeah,
and
just one more thing. So yes, we have an app, but we also have an API. The goal is that you can use it as you like. Essentially, if you like to use Lightroom or Photoshop and rely on our app, we can do that. We support RAWs, we support JPEGs, we do a lot of things specifically for the real estate editing industry. And I'm not sure why you had these errors, but when I'm going to cover it in the demo, it should work fine. If you are going to follow the process, it should be quite easy, and you can have different options how do you use it, rather out of the box or to build your own profile. Couple of words a bit about where we are, what we have been doing in the last couple of years, because I think it's important. So, as I mentioned, we are 100 people company. Most of us are in Tel Aviv. We have over 35,000 businesses and photographers. We are well funded. We receive over 35 million over the years, so we are here to stay. And while we focused on editing of images, we also enter video editing, which we can also discuss it a bit. We are actually launching this week video editing. Currently is for the wedding photography, but as you can imagine, it will go very fast toward real estate. So I know it also be kind of a pain from what I discussed with our prospects. So we can
Mhm.
cover that as well. Our goal and where we stand is that we are based on AWS, on big processor on the cloud. We're cloud based. We can edit about 1,500 images in 15 minutes. We can do it very fast, RAWs or JPEGs, and you have full control of the process. You can access it from everywhere. So if you have editors or photographers, the goal is to be one-stop shop from the photo shooting until getting the final images. This is just about us, and if that's okay, I'll go ahead and I will share my screen and show you the software.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. So let me do that. Share screen. Do the entire screen. I hope that should be fine. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry about all the tabs. You know it's crazy. I will try to minimize that.
Hey, no
Great.
problem.
So
And I'm going to make this full screen for all of you guys watching. If you want, is it possible to make Imagen full screen?
yeah.
Okay,
I
good.
never did it. The first time that I do it. Awesome, great. Uh, so this is the app. As I mentioned, we have the app, which is the easiest way to do. As you mentioned, go to the website, download it. You get automatically 1,000 free edits. You can go ahead, test it out. Don't take my word for it. Go see how it brings you value. On the left side, you have the Home tab. You have the AI profile. You have the project and the profile shop. The Home tab shows you everything that you see right here, how you create a profile and how you run an active project. The AI profile are well your AI profile that you're going to use, whatever they're going to be your own personal AI profiles, or if you want to use one that is a stock profile, one profile that be built for you, and then you can adjust or perfect it to
Ah,
your needs.
okay.
And yeah,
Sorry, don't mean to interrupt. This is how far I got.
yeah.
So this trouble I ran into was trying to create my own profile, but I could have just used one of your standard profiles.
Correct. And specifically for real estate, this is a bit on a side note. We noticed that bringing 3,000 images edited in one specific style, can be kind of hard because it's like 100 houses, a lot of projects. This is why we created two profiles. The one is natural home for a more warm feeling, and we have as
Mhm.
well elegant home, which is more for luxurious, white, perfect, clean walls and so on. So you can use those out of the box with your ability to adjust them and perfect them to your needs. I'm going to show you how you can do that in a second.
Okay.
And once you start to run the projects, you are going to see all your projects right here, and I'm going to cover that as well. And then obviously you have profile shops if you would like to buy a profile that is existing. It's more commercial stuff. So yeah, starting by having a profile. So our goal in Imagen is to learn how you are doing your editing, putting into a profile, a machine learning profile, and then you can put unedited images, and you will do the reproducing of the editing across all your unedited images, basically to automate your workflow. Instead of you doing it manually or your editor doing it manually, we are going to do it automatically
Okay.
with our ability to look on each image separately. So this is why when you were asked to create a personal AI profile with 3,000 images, this is because we need and we want to see a variety of different
Okay.
places: indoors, outdoors, living room, a bathroom, outdoors. All of those, when they are being edited, they are going to have different weights in terms of color correction, in terms of white balance, in terms of shadows, everything around those. And when we are going to do the editing, we are going to do that image based. For example, for the living room, we're going to give it its own weight in terms of the white balance and so on. While for the outdoors and the bathroom, it's going to be different. So this is not a preset. Each image will have its own weight. So when you are going to look on the project, it will look for you consistent according to what you are used to. This
Okay.
is,
Can
yeah,
I pause you real quick, just
yeah.
because you're going really quick, and I really appreciate that. But I just want to catch everybody up so that people understand. It seems like you guys not only have standard stuff, but you've gotten your AI to the point where each individual photographer, as a user, can train models to actually edit exactly how we prefer. At least that's the theory. We'll see how the results show up here in a second. But that is some pretty incredible feature that we can actually train our own models. Is that correct?
Correct. And this is how we set ourselves
Yeah.
apart as well from the other solutions out there, that you have full control and you are going to see that each image have its own like unique in its own way that how you do things, and it's not going to be like again as a preset. I'm going to show you how it looks. You can use a preset. This, you have the option of the personal light personal profile. You can use your own if this is your style, but our goal and our forte is actually to go ahead, create your own personal AI profile, whatever. If you should RAWs or JPEGs, if you do colors or black and white, and you guys will be mostly colors, you will name it as you want. You need, if you're going to go for this option, to bring 3,000 images that were edited by the same editor, so it's going to be consistent. You're
Hmm.
uploading it to your to the system. It takes about a day, and then you are going to have like one of the profile that we have right here. So we require at least 3,000 images, as you can see right here. This is the bare minimum,
Okay.
right? But if you have more than like we have profile more than 100,000, so the more the merrier. The more examples that we have, the better editing results we are going to bring you. We didn't invent the wheel, we just reproduce it. This is the
Okay.
goal. uh,
Very cool. Now, this is all good theory.
mhm.
What do the results end up looking like? Can we see some
Yeah,
before
yeah.
and after
I was
images?
Yeah, I'm going to show you some examples. I just want to show you the workflow, and then I'm going to
Okay.
jump on and show you how it looks. So essentially, this is like the recommended way if you want us to really reproduce your own specific style. As I mentioned, if you don't have the time, if you just want to give it a quick test, you go ahead for our profile showcase. You can select elegant home, which is for real estate, or natural home. You can
Hmm.
even compare between the styles. For example, you take elegant home and you take natural home for this specific image right here. Let's go for this image right here. This is a bit more real estate, so to say. And this is one option. This is the other option. And then you would see how the unedited image will look. And now two examples will actually give it to you a trial. You can also upload your own image and show you how it's going to look if you are going to choose one of these profiles. So
Okay.
this is the goal for going for the quick test. You click on use to edit, And then here, if you are using Lightroom Classic and you're going to work on the batches, you are just going to upload your Lightroom catalog. If you just want to make it to make it a bit faster and upload directly from a folder, we are based on the Adobe suite, meaning if you use Lightroom, Photoshop, or Bridge, anything that have the XMP file under the Adobe suite, this is how we are basically translating the data that we are teaching the model from the XMP file back to the image, and then you can see the iteration of the image. Does it make
Okay.
sense?
Yes, it does. And I do love that you guys have integrated it with Lightroom. Ideally, my dream AI software would be where I don't ever have to leave Lightroom very much at all. Where I could have a project and then I could just select my images and have the AI edit that. And then it's okay if it leaves the software, but preferably it would be re-ingested into Lightroom as if I'm just editing everything inside Lightroom. That would be personally the best workflow for me in my business. But you guys are getting a step closer there.
No, this is exactly what you describe. Essentially,
Okay.
what we do when you train the model, we are learning the iteration of the image by the XMP file. When we train the model, and the model is ready, and you send unedited images, when you're downloading your images back, we are sending back the parameters. So when you're opening Lightroom, as I'll show you in a second, you will see the original image, but you're going to see the AI profile of Imagen tweaking the parameters per image according to what you wanted. And this is the power of Imagen. It gives you control. You can either tweak it further and then upload it back to Imagen for learn from the iteration, or you
Mhm.
can just export it yourself. So this is about what you described.
Okay, that's fantastic. So it seems like you guys have a lot of good things going on here. Can we
Yeah.
see some results of a real ingestion, a real edit? Looks like you
Yeah.
have a few shots there.
Yeah, so basically, just to finish this up, so you are going to edit the images according to
Mhm.
this profile, and then on top of it, for real estate, we develop the relevant features. We do HDR merge up to 9 exposures bracketed. We identify the exposure out of the bracket, and we'll auto merge it up to 9 exposures. We have the window pulls. We detect the windows. We apply the masks, and obviously we are pulling the windows. We have perspective correction, vertical correction, and we came out last week also with the sky replacement, which is not only sky replacement but also the ability to mask the skies and adjust the tone according to how you want it. When I click in on edit, it's going to run. When it's ready, we see it on the projects right here, and we are going to click download to review, and then we can see this in Lightroom. I'm going to pop up Lightroom 2. You can see the results right here. So let me
Okay, I'm really
minimize.
excited about this, man. If these images look good, um,
Yeah, so take a look at this image. You see all the parameters are in the center. This is the merge DNG, the HDR, 3 exposures
mhm.
bracketed, but before applying any AI profiles to it. When I apply here the Imagen AI profile, you can see what happened. First, the parameters changed. Second, we also did the vertical correction. We applied the vertical correction. In this case, it wouldn't be needed. We applied automatically the lens correction out of the box. And what we did here as well, we applied here the window pull. So we detect the windows, and if you see the befores and after, this is how it looks.
And
Now,
it actually adds the mask into Lightroom so that we can see.
you can control it and you can see it. So for example, we give it,
Wow.
yeah, we give you the ability, for example, as I show you, we have certain parameters that we give you out of the box. Currently, these parameters are presets. It's not yet AI. You can control them down the road. We are going to identify how the image was globally edited, and we are going to pull back the windows accordingly according to the room. So for example, if here it was pulled by a certain number, we are going to reverse it locally with the window pulls. So just for the example here, if you want to have it a bit brighter, you can do that. If you want to have it a bit warmer, then depends on your style. You can have complete flexibility, and obviously if you want to throw up the mask, if you don't like it, you will just go back to this result right here.
Okay, that's so there's flexibility there. Now, can we go back? I want to just flip back between the before and after image
Yeah,
real quick, and I may
sure.
ask you to do a few edits, um, just so that I can see. All right, I'm largening my screen. All right, so it looks like, and I'm just making my observations as a photographer here,
Mhm.
that um, this is this a single image that you ran through Imagine?
No, this is the three images bracketed. You see HDR on the bottom left. So this is
Uh-huh.
three images that we identify the exposure and we merge it. And before
Okay.
applying the AI profile with the colors, the mask, and everything that I showed you, this is the before.
Okay, so we give you three brackets. You guys merge it into HDR and then have your AI mask it after that. Is that correct?
So we do a couple of things right here. So we do the color correction image based, we do the perspective correction and lens correction together. And in this case, we also do the window pools in this case.
Okay. Now let's go back to the first image, unedited. Okay, good. And now I just want to flip back and forth between it. So it looks like if you look at the painting on the wall behind the dining room table,
Yep.
it looks like the wall there has an overexposure or something, some type of,
Color casting, yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
yeah, it looks more so like it was overexposed and blended poorly in the HDR.
Mhm.
But now let's flip in between this shot and then the second shot. The color casting is not all that horrible, and you guys didn't just bleach it, which is nice, but I am seeing some discrepancy in the color casting. The window pulls are nice, but the image does seem to be a little bit hot. Can we
Mhm.
lower the exposure a little bit globally?
Yeah.
And yeah, just something right there. And then can you take the tone curve and lower that in the mids, please?
Like
Okay,
that.
just a little bit. Yeah, that's good. So it seems like you guys have also trained this model with specific edits in mind. We've already improved it quite a bit just by making those adjustments. And it seems like if I trained my own model to my own taste, we could get it closer. So
Yeah.
here, how closely so far have you guys worked directly with an experienced veteran in real estate photography who truly understands how to edit? Because actually, a lot of real estate photographers get into the industry and don't know how to edit. They never learn, they just outsource everything.
Mhm.
So I would say less than 25% of real estate photographers actually know what they're doing when it comes to editing. Um, and I find that a lot of developers who get into the industry, whether it be with scheduling software or editing, kind of just let the developers run wild and they miss important keys. Um,
Yeah.
would you guys be how closely have you worked with like really expert editors, not just outsourcers, but someone who can teach you the concepts to get these results?
Right. So when, as I mentioned, we work with more than 35,000 businesses, but the company started actually as a PLG, meaning mostly for the end photographers. We have some big personas in the industry that when we decided first how to prioritize the features, for example, coming with HDR merge before window pools and so on, we they build the software in their vision, right? For example, do HDR window pool sky replacement. And when we train the model and we got this, for example, this result, which for you is based on our profile, it's not even your own taste, it should be good enough for you as a base. So our
Mhm.
goal is to give you at least 80% done. As an AI software, we want to be 100%. We can never be 100%. We want to be. But if you guys, for example, get this image, you get rid of this color casting, these shadows and so on, from couple of clicks, your work or your editor's work won't be tedious editing. It will be, in this case, light editing and mostly
Mhm.
quality assurance. This is our goal. And I get what you say, right? Here you have color casting. For example, you have this weird purple, bluish magenta colors. So for the AI to catch these specific things that are not out of like 3,000 examples, they are so niche, which is very hard for the AI to identify and clean it up, rather than, for example, focus on window pools or sky replacement or HDR, which are the main thing, the most time consuming, and then leave this, I don't know, 15, 20% work that we are going to learn, for example, how here in this case you are lowering the exposure or the highlight and just going back to Imagen. And this is also a key point right here. If you're going back to Imagen, you can teach the software how to use it. So for example, if I'm going back to Imagen right here, I'm just going to push it away. So if I'm going back to Imagen right here, you can see that you have the option of upload final edits. So any tweaks that you do on Lightroom, you are cleaning this color casting, you are playing with the shadow, you are playing with the exposure, anything that you do,
Mm,
when you upload the final edit, we are going to use this profile as the base, but then on top of it, you are going to adjust it into your own AI profile. So we are going to learn from this iteration. You start from a base of 80 to 85%. It's not your profile, right? It's our profile. But all this iteration will give you closer to 90, 95%. So when you're going to get this image back, next time, you are going to have less color casting, less shadows, because you already teach the model how to handle those. And,
right.
and then your work will be mostly quality assurance. Check, 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 check. And then you can speed up your process.
That is really good. There's definitely a learning curve with Imagen, but it does have the features that we're looking for. And the main thing I was going to ask you with, have you worked with photographers to really understand the key industry requirements for real estate photography? The three things that I always harp on about and teach when I teach people how to do real estate photography. By the way, check out Real Estate Photography Masterclass if you haven't already. The three keys to industry expectations in industry are verticals. You got to get your verticals correct. You've got to get your window pulls, and you've got to get your color casting fixed. So it seems like your AI can do the verticals pretty well. I will say the distortion here is looking a little bit off, but acceptable. The second thing is the window pulls. The window pulls are pretty good. There is a little bit of a weirdness with the door that is closed versus the door that's open. No, it is a closed sliding door, but the two windows are a little bit different, I think. But the masking is spot on, um, and the color casting is getting okay. Yeah. So let's move on to the next thing, and essentially, I would have to verify if the examples I run through your software get the same one as the demonstration pieces here, because as we have all just talking to photographers here, as we all have seen with AI companies, they have AI edits that they advertise, and then there's the AI edits that you actually get when you use the software. So I encourage you guys, go to Imagen, set it up, experiment when you have some free time, see how far along it is. I spoke with some other photographers who have used Imagen a few months ago, and they said it still had some work, like it wasn't quite there yet. I am seeing that it is already much further along than it was a few months ago. So the next big question is pricing. How does pricing work with Imagen, and how much is it going to end up costing us to edit, let's say, a single image?
Right. So basically, we are offering a package of real estate, which is 20 cents, 22 cents. It goes in terms of this is the retail price. It consists of 5 cents per HDR merge, sky replacement, window pulls, and the colors, right? And then you have, if you are using crop and straighten, which is less common in the real estate industry, while we provide it, this is the best price. While this is the best price, most of the real estate photographers take at least couple of hundred, kind of thousands of images per year. We are working on annual agreement, so you can get anywhere between 20% discount and above, depends on your volume.
Okay, so let's just go through that again. You say 22 cents per image?
Right.
Okay, and that all includes window pulls, color casting fixes, profile corrections and straightening verticals, and that's the most expensive it'll ever be, 22 cents.
And
And
sky
it
and
goes,
sky and sky replacement as well. Yeah.
okay, and sky replacements, and then it goes down from there based off of volume.
Yeah, it depends on your volume. If you do from 100,000 and above, you are going to get obviously more discount compared to 50,000. But if you get to millions, of course, you're going to get tailored pricing.
Okay, and you seem to know a lot. Let me ask you a question. I want to ask you a little bit, so stay tuned here, guys. I'm just going to get into a little bit of the technical weeds here for a bit, and then we'll get back to random, um, more understandable stuff. But you guys are actually using AI models and everything else, which requires graphics cards and heavy CPU
Mhm.
processing. You're doing this on AWS. What type of graphic cards are you using, and how many graphics cards does it take to process an order, for example? Do you know that off the top of your head?
To be honest, no, but I can double check that for you.
Okay. All right. If you could, that'd be great. Do you know much about pricing and the renting of the graphics cards, or are you more so not technical?
No, no, I mean technical specifically about the software, but not about the clouds, but also
Okay.
specific question. If those are things that you think will make a difference, definitely I can check that for you.
Yeah, it's more so the reason I'm asking is because I'm trying to figure out how much this stuff actually costs, and I'm pretty good at figuring that out because I'm not just a photographer. I, like I said, develop my own software
Yeah.
and understand the true cost of development. Um, Storage on AWS. All of my software is run on AWS as well, so I
Mhm.
am intimately familiar with how
Yeah.
much the stuff uh, costs. But
Mhm.
anyway,
One more thing about that, if you are speaking technical wise, as I mentioned, we also have an API, and I think we have the app and you have the ability to control it in Lightroom or Photoshop or Bridge. This is the beauty of Imagen, that you can always have your control. You don't take it out of the box, you need to live with it. You can adjust the global adjustment, you can adjust the window pulls, you can adjust the scar replacement. But if I go back to the app, and this is so important as well, we have the
mhm,
ability to send you the final JPEGs. So if you would like to deliver the final photo, so what we're going to do for you, if you shoot JPEGs or RAWs, we are going to put the XMP, the iterations that you saw of the image on top of the image, but we will do the export for you. So instead of going through Lightroom or Photoshop, if you're going to click right here, we are going to do the export directly to a folder. So
mm,
if you like our edits, if you like, you already run dozens, hundreds of thousand, a lot of images, you know what you expect in terms of the color correction of the window pulls, and you can work on the final JPEGs. You don't need even to touch Lightroom because you know what you get. This is first. Second, and this is a bit more technical, we have also an API. So all of this that I showed you right here, which you're running through the app, you can just prompt it directly through our servers. So you
mm.
don't even need to touch the Imagen app. And this is another way that we work with large businesses if they would just want to have it fully automated.
Okay, great, fantastic. Thank you, Jonathan. All right, man. I really think that is all we've got here. 22 cents seems to be better. I would love to see it a little bit lower just because it's AI. But if we have a discount thanks to volume, what could our discount be? For example, I shoot about 1,000 listings a year. We're doing about 30 to 40 images per house, really closer to 40. So that would be 40,000 images for me a year. And I'm not that big of a business. I'm pretty average for an experienced real estate photographer. Um, what kind of discount would I be looking at for
Um,
40,000 a year?
about 15 at 15% discount. So to be below the 20 cent benchmark, about 18 cents.
Okay. All right. Um, and I could actually make this. Okay, cool. All right. AI is getting there. AI is getting there. Is there anything else you can tell us about Imagine and where you're going? So, recapping everything that we've learned so far, you guys have a lot of features where it's very compatible with Lightroom. Um, you have standard profiles that we can use to get started with, but you also have incredible abilities to learn our own style and our own editing preferences. And we can continue to fine tune it after we take an image back into Lightroom and we continue to make adjustments. We can continue fine tuning the model indefinitely for it to get closer and closer and closer. The pricing is about half what we've seen other places. Um, and you guys are a much larger company with a ton of capability and investment, and you guys seem to be serious about real estate photography. Um, that being said, I'm still a little bit worried about how you seem to be prioritizing weddings still, just with the photo, the video stuff. Um, is there any way we can earn your loyalty and make us more important than wedding photographers? I guess it all has to do with market size, right? How many users from real estate you got to get the attention of the executives up top, I guess.
Yeah. So at least for the last year, as you said, right? So the real estate photography business, especially in the States, is really, really high end in terms of the expectations, right? Most of the business outside you outsource to Vietnam or to like to other countries, and when you get it spot on. You pay a lot of money, but you get it spot on. And by the time that we are going to perfect it, and then you got it right. Now we are about 80% done with the window pools, sky replacement, and we are going to see the market adoption. And I can say that have tons of businesses that are just waiting for us to get to this threshold that they set the bar because they use with outsourced company, and we're going to see the value that is going to bypass the weddings and other verticals. Definitely, we go full on. So we now we
Okay.
invest a lot. We can see the trend. A lot of businesses signed with us, work with APIs and so on. But obviously, compared to the wedding vertical, which is quite big, with fewer demands in terms of the perfection, for example, no window pulls, no HDR, things like that. Once we are going to get the same way with real estate and we are going to get the bunch of bigger companies that are working with us, obviously we are going to develop more and more features. And I get a bunch of them, for example, the remove of the flashes, the remove of the blur stuff. So all of these spot things, we need to see the market adoption, which we see, but we want to see it gradually. And this is the learning curve, right? Because you currently have, like the businesses, they work with overseas, they pay a lot, they need to wait for it, they don't have control, but it works spot on. And for us to replace that, we need to give reliable product to make it fast, to make it cost efficient, which we are there. But as we mentioned, we want to get to a place which it's not going to be a question of if, but just when I move to Imagen.
Okay, great. This is really interesting stuff, man. I'm really excited seeing this AI race. It's like living through the '60s in the space race with the moon landing in Russia versus the U.S. And I really do feel like every different company is offering different things. So right now, some of them are super easy to use, but the results and the price just aren't there. Um, this one seemed to have a little bit of a learning curve, but you seem to be getting it a lot closer, and the potential there seems to be a lot better where we can even tweak it ourselves based of our own individual preferences. And I will say this, real estate photography requires creatives to be a little bit less picky, but man, us real estate photographers are still picky. And I'm sure you guys deal with that all the time with wedding photographers. I apologize on behalf of us creatives. I know we can be very rude. Just my own experience, I have been doing real estate photography for over 10 years and have dealt with agents. And sometimes I thought agents can be a little bit hard to deal with. But I am shocked now that I'm trying to work with other real estate photographers how rude they can be. So I know that we're not an easy bunch of people to deal with. I apologize about that. But it seems like you guys really are giving your best effort here. I do like the pricing point. Getting it into the teens really helps. That saves me over 50% on my cost because I pay 40 cents an image per image right now. Um, my big question here, and this is something as a software developer myself, I'm looking at the possibilities and the capabilities of AI, and I'm actually wondering, because of the specifics, color casting is one of the biggest challenges with AI, because when you get walls that are all sorts of different colors, it is very difficult, I think, for the AI to know where to mask and then select the color to do a color correction and apply it to that mask. It seems like it's very difficult for the AI to know that. That is just a very human judgment that needs to be made. Um, do you ever see AI getting to the point where it is truly, right now, you've been talking about 80% there, like, will will AI ever be able to match an outsourced editor on quality, par for par? You can't tell the difference.
Well, this is our dream, the dream of everyone in this industry. I can say this: everything is possible. AI based, everything can be taught to a model. If you have enough examples, we can do that. So, for example, we can do it in the, let's say, stupid way. Just where you see that, just do that automatically. For example, if it's Magneta, just lower the Magneta to zero. We can do this like hacks to build
Mhm.
something that is sustainable. And for a lot of time, we need to decide that this is prioritized. And when we build the priority, we say, okay, we need first to handle the color casting, or we need first to do HDR merge perfectly, or window pulls. Obviously,
Mhm.
this is key because not every image has color casting, but all the images should be perfectly merged, perfectly window pulls, perfectly sky replace. So we can do that, and this is the possibility. Of course, it a lot of time and development and a lot of learning curve, but it can be done. It's just not prioritized because it was after other features. But to your
Mhm.
question, it can be done. It
Okay,
depends
can
about
be
how
done.
much they need. Yeah.
All right, just because I know that there's some very brilliant people out there who have tried to utilize AI in their industries. Let's just take car production, for example. I know like Tesla tried to have a completely automated production process, but they ended up coming out and saying, we underestimated the human touch and requirement, judgment, and AI just doesn't seem to be able to reproduce the expertise that we need. And I've considered building my own AI to help build these models, and I'm looking at it and seeing like, I'm not sure if I want. So here's the big question for me. A lot of people are thinking, oh, are you going to build another software like you did with scheduling and then go into competition with other AI companies? I'm not worried about the competition in AI. I'm worried about the competition overseas with human editors. They're the competition. And personally, right now, I don't think AI is up to the task of getting it to the 95, 100% there. I feel like there has to be further development, advancements in technology. But I know, and I'm not just trying to say that to dog on you, it just seems I'm trying to discuss this here. It seems like AI isn't there. And even with voice reproduction that I've seen in a lot of other industries, like you can go to artlist.io and get uh, a generated voiceover for your videos. You can always tell, like it's never perfect, and it seems like AI is enough to be very scary, but still seeable. Like you can tell that it's not real. Um, are we going to reach a plateau that AI cannot surpass? Or, and I guess I'm trying to ask the same question here again, but, or do you think AI will transcend even human editing and arise to a new level that is going to just blow us all away? Like that's the big question a lot of people have.
Well, if you can, as you can imagine, I'm having these calls quite a lot, and everyone have their own features. And as you can, I got straight the bed, blew the pool, remove the trash can, I
Hmm.
don't know, put file. So the features are never ending. And this is why, as a business, we are not going to develop very specific features like shred the bed, obviously, only for one or two business. It doesn't make sense for us. Our goal is to give at least 80 to 90%. And we know that we might not be 100% there. And maybe this is not our goal. We want to give a product that is 80 to 90% there for a third up to a quarter of the price. And then
Hmm.
for you as a business, even now, you need to take an internal QC manager or a light editor. It will
Right.
still worth your while because you can perfect it to how you want it. You get it fast. You are fully independent, no raises of prices and so on, and you get it exactly as you want it. So our goal is to give it in a good for a good obviously good pricing, as I mentioned, third to a quarter, and also to have at least 80 to 90%, which we know that sometimes you guys have your own signature. I don't know, it can be flash, I don't know, like
Right.
the layers,
Right.
it can be. And so this is why we want to strive to get to 100%, but the features requests are never ending between the US, Europe, and other places.
Yeah, I can tell. Yeah, the requests we get, even for how people like to build their order forms, is never ending. It's fun. I enjoy it. By the way, guys, if you want a fantastic scheduling software, check out Real Estate Media Hero. Just shameless plug there. Um, this is going to be close, man. I think the potential is there. You obviously understand what our workflow looks like as real estate photographers. You're exactly right about the quality check. Even though we do have overseas stuff, I always quality check all of my images here in my business. And I usually prefer to have the photographer that took the images quality check it. That just helps them stay connected with their own work, but also they know the space better than anyone because they saw it with their own naked eye. So, man, this has been a really informing podcast, and we got it done in like less than 45 minutes. You're a really fast talker, um, but man, you covered a lot, and I think this is going to be really interesting, guys. So, if you anybody watching this, if you guys have other AI companies that you'd like me to interview, feel free to comment them down below, and I'll make sure to do that on the next episode. But I'm really impressed with Imagen, and it seems like, if can I make some suggestions? I mean, I don't
Always.
want to be too rude here, but one of the big things that would be holding me back, and I always tell my guests this, hey, here's some things that I'm seeing, and I truly mean this as, take it positively. Um, the learning curve is pretty steep, and it's a little bit difficult to sign in and get everything set up. If you guys could cut out some of the steps to make it a little bit easier, a little bit less friction, that would be key. And I just find that that's something that's always comes along with software engineers. It's very difficult to control a software engineer and make sure they don't get too happy with engineering stuff. And the other thing, what was the other thing? We've got the editing will improve with time. The cost is not bad. Oh, the other thing I wanted to ask, um, usage rights, terms of use with the images. Um, are you guys using the images that we submit to you guys to further train your models? How is that outlined?
Right. So basically, if you use one of our profiles, obviously your images are not being. We don't even train a model. What we do in Imagen, we are not keeping the images. What we learn are from the iterations. We learn from the XMP file. We don't really, to be honest, we don't really care. We just want to know how do you guys do it, and we want to
Mhm.
reproduce it. So we are not saving the images apart for if you build your profile one time, and then every images are going. We just look on parameters, and parameters are obviously just parameters. And then moving forward, we are going to do the adjustments accordingly. So there are not anything that is private, especially in real estate. In weddings, in school photography, it can be something that if you speak about European client GDPR and things like that, it's not there, right? We just look on the
Okay.
parameters and we just apply them when they
Okay.
need it.
And do the terms of use have any like global attribution of our image rights licensing? Essentially, usually, what one thing I do not like to see in terms of use, and it's something I have removed from my scheduling software so that we don't have access to your images, is you grant us an irrevocable, never-ending license to use, reproduce, resell, and all that.
We don't
Do you
do
have
that.
any?
It's only yours. We don't do that. We have no interest
Okay.
of doing nothing with your images.
Okay. All right. Great. Thank you, man. Man, this has been a really great podcast, and I'm sorry we couldn't get it done earlier in the week, but I'm glad that we got it done. It was
Thanks.
worth waiting for, and I really appreciate it, man. Anything else you'd like to say to the real estate photography world before we say au revoir?
Yeah. So first, thanks again for having me here. I think it was really interesting to see, from an expert how you see the ecosystem. And for us, when we build the software, we build it according to your needs. We build it for you guys. We want to potentially give you 100%, but we are getting there, as you mentioned. We would love to hear any feedback about the product if you're going to test it out, any feature requests, any idea to make the software better. Because as I mentioned, we look on real estate, we see a lot of value. I'm a real believer. I came basically to bring this real estate into Imagen. So it's kind of my baby. I would really appreciate if you even write me an email for any question, jonathan@imagen-ai.com. And yeah, that's basically it. Thanks again for having me.
Yeah, no problem, man. And are you what type of level are you in the company? Are you just like a general customer service guy, or head of development, or what do you do?
I'm managing the business solutions, working with the CEO and also our head of sales. Mostly, I'm the bridge between the sales, which I'm doing sales myself, but also with the product.
Okay, cool. Very, very cool. We spoke with a very important person. All right. Hey, thank you, Jonathan. I really appreciate it. I can't tell you enough. And I think, I'm not going to switch over to any AI products yet, but I'm keeping an eye out and I'm testing you guys. So look out next, guys. I'm going to make a video on where I see AI going in the industry and how I see it working out with all things for us real estate photographers. I'll make that next week. So thank you, guys. And thank you, Jonathan, for meeting with us today. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot.